illuminate that more resources need to go to the whole problem of terrorism across the country. I say my comments were reflective of concerns of military resourcing, management, and what military support, external support they were getting to fight terrorism was insufficient. That's a military answer to a military organization. The U.S. seeks opportunities to continue to collaborate with Burkina Faso. For a number of years, they've been our brothers in arms, and I still consider them so. But the common denominator, the foundational issue, is the growing threat across all of these violent extremist organizations seeking refuge within the borders of Burkina Faso, recruiting within the borders of Burkina Faso, and growing an expansion that provides a threat to the sovereignty of Burkina Faso and across the region of Sahel.
Dear Michael Langley, on behalf of the people of Africa, we see you. We see you, the son of the descendants of slavery. We see you, Michael Langley. We see what you're doing. You are currently in Africa, the chief of AFRICOM, plotting how you're gonna bring down the West African countries that have finally cut the cord of the black-sucking French. And you, Michael Langley, have volunteered your services to destroy the first time the black Africans are literally about to take their first step into freedom. You have appointed yourself as the slayer of the son of Africa, Ibrahim Traore. Your 4 stars mean nothing in Africa. They will never mean anything in Africa because Ibrahim Traore is the true black son of Africa. He is literally the role model of what a black man should be. It's not you, because the only way you can get recognition is by destroying Africa on behalf of white supremacy. People who will so readily pew you in the street because of the color of your skin. So, Michael Langley, I mean no disrespect to you, okay? Because you, whatever accomplishments you have achieved, but you are using your position for evil. I say, Michael Langley, you need to rethink your stance on Africa, because you will not destroy the hope of Africa. We will not let you. My parents spent 8 years in a concentration camp in Kenya. My mother was 8 years old when their village was raided in the dead of night. And for 8 solid years, she was in a concentration camp with all her family, being systematically starved, seeing all her neighbors being unalived on a daily basis. And you, Michael Langley, you want to keep Africans traumatized. You want to maintain the trauma of Africa. I say to you, Michael, I don't know what your background is. I know nothing about you, but all I know that if you unalive Ibrahim Traore, may you and your entire generation never, ever for eternity ever find peace. Because for the first time, the people of Africa are just about to break free. And they have sent you there to take away the bridge to their freedom. I say to you, please walk away now, because Africa is seeing you. Every black person in the world have got their eyes on you. You standing up for white supremacy, Michael. And you will not get away with this. You won't. Africans are already traumatized. Then for the first time, we can see the promised land of peace. And you're just about to take that away from us. May the curse of all the ancestors befall on you if you unalive Ibrahim Traore.
General Michael Langley is in Kenya for Africa Chief of Defense Conference, but he was not welcomed by Kenyans at all because of what he's been doing to Burkina Faso, to Ibrahim Traore. So he was asked the same questions. Do you stand by what you said about Ibrahim Traore and Burkina Faso? Are you going to apologize to Ibrahim Traore? He said no. He said that he still stands with what he said. Burkina Faso have become worse than it was before Ibrahim Traore became the president. So Ibrahim Traore is overhyped. According to him, Ibrahim Traore is overhyped and nothing is happening. Nothing good is happening in Burkina Faso. Before that, he was asked how many soldiers has US trained in Africa. He said over 50,000 soldiers. And also he was asked, in those 50,000 soldiers, how many of those soldiers have led a successful coup, or how many of those soldiers have led to a coup? He said less than 1%. So the Guinea president became a president through a coup. He was trained and equipped by USA. They are saying they had no idea that he was planning to overthrow the government, even though there are pictures of him and American soldiers celebrating that they got the government. This is why Ibrahim Traore is not interested at all. They are forcing themselves to come to Burkina Faso, and Ibrahim Traore is not interested. And this is why they are saying all these things about Burkina Faso and Ibrahim Traore.
So we have some major breaking news coming from Russia. This is just an update on the attempt of trying to take down Putin, the president of Russia. And I told you that Putin is a friend of Ibrahim Traore and the Sahel states. And Putin is the one who is responsible for opening the eyes of all the Africans. And the lights that you are seeing now and the truth that we are now knowing came from Russia, because Russia decided to liberate Africa by telling them the truth that the Western nations were taking a lot from them. So the United States of America, the NATO, and all the countries that support Ukraine are now after the life of Putin, and now they are trying their best to take down Putin. And let me tell you, they have given a red light to Ukraine to use long-range missiles in striking deep into Russia. And let me tell you, Russia has said that it is not going to back up. Even if it means to use a nuclear weapon on Ukraine, it is going to use a nuclear weapon. And now, Putin has decided that he is going to bring Ukraine to its knees. Nobody is going to escape this one. And many West African nations are in support of Putin. And they are saying that it is time for Putin to punish all the Western nations that have been taking resources from Africa.
Guys, Chinese military just arrived Burkina Faso. What is happening? What is about to happen? Now they have come to assist Ibrahim Traore. They have come to assist Burkina Faso military. And as I am talking to you now, it's happening in Burkina Faso. It's like Ibrahim Traore, though the suspect say these Westerners are trying to bring Badu to his own country. So he has to prepare on ground. Now Chinese military, kudos to you, God bless you for trying to assist Burkina Faso in this heart of terrorism where these people they try to fight. Guys, it's happening. It's happening. And this same matter is happening in Nigeria. These people they destabilize our place anyhow. Instead of you people, you cannot fight them. Instead of you to ask, to request for help from the Westerners, from another African country, from country that meant well for Nigeria, you don't want to do that because you people know what you are doing. Burkina Faso military in collabo now with the Chinese military. You can see them here now. You are looking at them. You can see them here. Collabo with Chinese military. Something new is going to happen in Burkina Faso. Africa is on its way of rising again. Before now, Africa was 10 times better than the European world. Now, European world are taking our wealth away. They can carry our wealth, come out. While we that host the wealth, we also in slavery in our own land. Burkina Faso, kudos to you.
Breaking news from South Africa. The president of South Africa, Ramaphosa, went ahead and said he feels abused with Donald Trump the other day when he visited the White House, and one of the parliamentarians went ahead and asked him why didn't he felt abused when he was in the White House. Now he feels abused when he is now in South Africa. You won't believe this. Imagine the president of South Africa, Ramaphosa, traveled all the way from South Africa to the United States at the White House, knowing that they are going to discuss on matters that maybe will build these two countries, but all turned into embarrassment, where Donald Trump started playing clips of Malema, showing people that Malema was the one inciting the genocide that had been going on in South Africa, giving false evidences about the genocide that has been going on in South Africa. Ramaphosa is still in big shame because he couldn't even defend himself. He felt so coward. Imagine him as a president couldn't confront a fellow president and tell him, whatever you're telling me is not from my country, it's from DRC Congo, because all those evidences have been checked out and they were not from South Africa. And now he has reached in South Africa. He feels that Donald Trump abused him. Anyway, African leaders should stop being puppets of these white leaders. See now the reputation and everything that happened that day. Breaking news. Russia has gone ahead and sent a strong warning to the United States after Donald Trump tweeted this on his X page. What Putin doesn't realize is that if it wasn't for me, lots of really bad things could have happened to Russia. And I mean really bad things. He's playing with fire. And actually, these people were trying to assassinate Vladimir Putin. And NATO is in cooperation with Ukraine. And this is what one of the best friends of Putin, Dmitry, has gone ahead and tweeted on his X page. You won't believe. Regarding to Trump's words about Putin playing with fire and a really bad thing happening to Russia, I only know of one thing: World War III. Hey, I hope Trump understands that. You won't believe it. Let me tell you, NATO and its allies are very bitter because Vladimir Putin went ahead and opened the eyes of Africans, most especially the president of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore. And I remember the remarks that Vladimir Putin went ahead and said, I will make sure that Africans have opened up their eyes so that you can know your place and Africans can know their place. So this is what is pissing them off, and that's why the NATO and its allies are using Ukraine to target Vladimir Putin. Anyway, what's your thought on this? Write it at the comment section.
That's my perspective.
Do you have a counter strategy?
Do we have a counter strategy as far as to
China, Russia, their presence, because you say it doesn't align with the shared values?
Well, what we watch is it does not, the continent of Africa does not need to be militarized, let's put it that way. Does not need to be militarized. And so we watch, as far as security agreements and what does it mean? Is it really for the stability to fight the threats of a African country, or is it for them and their ability to establish a global hegemon of basis? That's what concerns us.
We'll have to leave it there for now. Thank you very much.
Right.
General Michael Langley, thank you very much for speaking with us.
100% of that region is controlled by those extremist organizations. So their sovereignty is already threatened by their shared objectives. And we want to help them because if Burkina Faso wins against terrorism, all the bordering countries win as well.
Please listen to this.
Something is happening across West Africa, something that has leaders worried and citizens excited.
There is this news spreading around, let me say rumor, that some Nigerian military secretly had indoor meeting with Ibrahim Traore, the Burkina Faso president. I don't know how true this news is, but to back it up small like this, do you know that Chief of Army Staff here in Nigeria, Christopher Musa, visited Russia, pleaded with Vladimir Putin to help Nigeria fight against terrorists here in Nigeria? They said, water don't pass Gary, finally, they are tired. And the Russia have agreed to help Nigeria fight against the terrorists. Now, this news is spreading. There are some military secretly had meeting with Ibrahim Traore. Now, let me tell you, do you know that there is tension in Asoro? Nigerian government, they are panicking right now because of what is happening in Burkina Faso. Do you know that Nigerian government have instructed media especially Nigerian media, never to broadcast anything good, anything from Burkina Faso. Have you noticed this? Even during this protest that all Africans came out, protested in support of Ibrahim Traore, do you notice that Nigerians didn't protest? Few people that came out to protest, Nigerian government arrested them without any reason. Do you know about this? They are doing everything possible to suppress. They don't want Nigerians to know the revolution going on in Burkina Faso. You know, through social media, through media, that Nigerians will know what is happening around the world. And they have instructed media, especially Nigerian media, never to broadcast anything. They can't stop us because they don't have access to our pages, our platform. But this media, they can control them. Have you noticed it? And they don't want Nigerians to know, because if Nigerians finally know what is going on in Burkina Faso and that spirit enters Nigerians, they will be in trouble. So they are doing everything right now to suppress them. There are still some good soldiers in Nigerian military. They have the mind to do what Ibrahim Traore did, but they are afraid. And that was the reason Musa, the chief of army staff, visited. They are doing everything possible right now to redeem Nigeria, but it will be very hard for them because corruption have eaten deep into Nigeria. Now listen to this.
Something is happening across West Africa, something that has leaders worried and citizens excited. And right now, all eyes are on one country, Burkina Faso, and one man, Captain Ibrahim Traore. But while Burkina Faso rises, another country, Nigeria, is showing signs of tension, because behind closed doors, word is spreading that some members of the Nigerian military have met or made contact with Ibrahim Traore. And if that's true, the political elite in Nigeria are right to be nervous, because what's happening in Burkina Faso could inspire the biggest political shakeup Nigeria has seen in decades. And the first sign that something is wrong, the Nigerian government is now reportedly clamping down on media outlets that cover what's happening in Burkina Faso. Why? Because they know one thing: the moment Nigerian soldiers and Nigerian citizens begin to follow the Traore model, the game is over. Let's break it down. Over the past 2 years, Ibrahim Traore has gone from a young, unknown military officer to a global symbol of African resistance. He's kicked out foreign troops, taken control of national resources, cracked down on corruption, and empowered the people of Burkina Faso to rebuild their country with their own hands. He doesn't fly around the world begging for loans. He doesn't live in golden palaces or throw billion-naira weddings. He walks with his soldiers. He visits construction sites. He tells the truth, even if it upsets the West. And that's exactly why many young African soldiers see him as a blueprint. They're watching, learning, and in some cases, reaching out. That brings us to the new development that has set alarm bells ringing across Abuja. According to reports floating through diplomatic and regional security circles, some Nigerian military personnel have made contact with representatives of Traore's transitional government. The details are limited, but what's being whispered is this: there have been informal discussions. There is military admiration, and some in the Nigerian military are asking questions. What if we did the same? Now, the moment a government hears its military asking that kind of question, it panics. That's why, reportedly, the Nigerian government has started putting pressure on local media not to highlight Traore's achievements. If you're a journalist, you know what I mean. Suddenly, news about Burkina Faso disappears from the front pages. Videos of Traore speeches are quietly removed. Pro-Burkina content is flagged or shadow banned. Editors are told, be careful what you promote. That's not a coincidence, it's fear. Because for the first time in a long time, an African military is not staging coups to install puppets, but to empower people. And Nigeria's political class, built on decades of corruption, foreign dependence, and elite comfort, knows they are vulnerable if that idea spreads. Think about it. What if Nigeria had its own version of Traore? What if a young, patriotic, fearless leader rose up, not to rule forever, but to clean house, take back stolen wealth, end foreign exploitation, and give power to the people, it wouldn't take long before the system cracked. And that's exactly what the current government fears. Now let's be clear, Nigeria is not Burkina Faso. The population is bigger, the political system is more complex, the military has different factions, the ethnic and regional dynamics are deeper, but the frustrations, they are the same. A broken economy, sky-high unemployment, political elites who are disconnected from the streets, foreign companies draining the country's resources, youth who feel like they have no future. All of these issues exist in Nigeria, and many people believe that the current leadership has failed to fix them. So, when the average Nigerian sees videos of Traore walking among his soldiers, kicking out exploiters, standing firm before the West, it's not just inspiring, it's threatening to those in power, because it gives people a new image of leadership, one that doesn't need age, or money, or foreign validation, just courage, honesty, and action. That's why the government is working so hard to stop the comparisons.